And not every woman understands this. And this is why, you're going to find some lemons and you're going to find some people who are angels. But you just have to weed through it, and you can't give up. Because when you find your tribe, when you find people who are willing to uplift you, then you're like, you know what, I'm doing the right thing. And if people are trying to tear you down, then you're definitely doing the right thing.
We have a really special guest today joining us all the way from just outside of DC, right, Dr. Andrea Diese?
That's right. That's right. Right side DMV, originally from New York. Shout out to New York. Okay, go ahead.
Yay.
Awesome. Dr. Andrea is, you're basically the owner and creator of American Management and Leadership by Design, which are strategies and competencies in leadership, executive coaching, succession planning, and corporate training.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So before we get into everything and allow you to tell us more about yourself, we have been asking our guests a question. Okay. First question is, what is
Oh, it's
your
a hot
spirit
seat. I feel
animal?
good. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a hot seat.
You're in the hot seat for an hour at least with us.
Yeah. What is your spirit animal?
Horse.
Love it.
Loyal.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't.
Yes,
They're
yes, I
they're
could see that
free
about you.
spirits. You cannot break us. I tell people I may not win every fight, but you're gonna know I was there.
That's amazing.
Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background and your passions about this consulting agency that you started?
Oh my goodness. Well, you just put me on a soapbox. So here we go. So my name is Dr. Andrea Diese, and I am president of American Management and Leadership by Design. And we are a management consulting company that specializes in training and developing women, giving them the tools to control their future, overcome imposter syndrome, help manage their intellectual assets, and to dominate in their respective professions. So I teach women how to be leaders, and I'm really good at it. I'm also a business egghead. I love planning strategy and pitch decks and things like that. And I love like the things that people prefer not to do, like the little nuances of planning and like the intricacies and SOPs and that kind of stuff and flows and processes. I can eat, sleep, do that stuff all day long. And so I say I work with women. I'd like to say I live for my corporate clients, but I work with women entrepreneurs specifically because they don't know what they don't know. And so when I started my company, I was doing my stuff, and then the pandemic hit. And then all of a sudden, women, I mean, did you just see? I know you had to see this trending where there's a labor shortage. For the first time in recent history, there is a labor shortage because people are not going back to the traditional work or whatever the case may be. As a result, people are saying, you know what, I've learned I could do more with less. And I'm going to go, and I'm not putting my future in someone else's hands. And so I'm going to control my destiny. I'm going to control, because let me tell you something, you got me started. I tell people, listen, all this stimulus and things that the government is handing out, where do you think this money is coming from? Do you think there's going to be Social Security when you get older? No, we're not even sure there's going to be Medicare, Medicaid, whatever the medical system is. You know what I mean? Whatever you use, you don't know what's going to be in place. And I'm not
We don't
putting
know
my
what the future
destiny.
holds. Yeah.
Exactly right. The money didn't come from them. The money had to come from somewhere. They just raised the debt ceiling. All sorts of crazy things are happening. So I want to make sure that I live as long as possible and I don't have to worry about my medical, my husband's medical, because you retire, like who, because you have it for a little bit depending and, all sorts of stuff. And, my sister-in-law, my kids aren't going to fire us off of payroll for medical. You know what I mean? So if I have the company, it's not my only company, but I have a few options to be like, well, if you don't want me on this company, I'll go on this company. So, but a few options to make sure that we're taken care of.
No, totally. So it sounds like obviously you're very passionate about entrepreneurship and helping women in your own businesses because you do have more than one, and also within your communities. So I guess tell us a little bit more, yeah, about the clients that you work with, your clients that you work with, where are they typically situated? Are they all over North America? How do you, and what kinds of things do you help them with?
So
Yeah.
I find I have to tell you that I have been blessed to that Clubhouse has opened a world which I love, because the reality is that you cannot connect with people on LinkedIn, Facebook, and all those other platforms the way that you can connect with people on Clubhouse. I get, as opposed to going through like red tape for 10, 12, 15 people, then doing that whole relationship thing, and then maybe the admin will like me and then get me on your schedule, and then you're just like, hey, let me want to, you can bypass all of that.
And that's how we met, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you just heard me talking one day on the mom link, and I just said, "Listen, ladies, if you want to, no one," and this makes me a little bit nutty, and this is just my little thing. Everyone talks about scaling, right? Everyone's like, "You want to learn how to make $1,000 in a week and you can scale this and you can scale," like,
It's a bit overused. Yeah,
Yes, for sure.
yeah. But you don't know actually how to do it.
there you go. There you go. And then so I try to explain to women that there's a science behind business. So before you can even think about scaling, because I've spoken to, and I give 15 minutes and I only do 15 minutes because I'm not here to sell, you know. And so, and if anyone, and I'm telling this to anyone out there, and I don't care who gets upset with me. If someone says I never do this and I'll have a 30-minute consultation with you, their sole intent is to sell. I don't have time for that. I have 2 little kids. I have real work to do, and so if you just want some help, I just wanna give you an answer. You wanna talk to me, here you go, have a great day, see you later. If I can help you, great. But I'm not trying to say, "Well, let me just cut," it's I'm doing this because I want women to become educated. And what I wanna do is say, "Listen, don't get distracted by the glitter. Don't get distracted by what you think is out there." So before, I had a woman come to me and she said, I want you to help me with my social media." I said, "Okay, I can give you a template or I could fill out the plan for you. We could talk about that price point if I have to personally do it." I said, "But what after you grow your social media, what are you going to do?"
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
no execution plan.
So I said,
Mhm.
and she said, "Well, I have a challenge." And I said, "Okay, how are you converting these people? How are you capturing them?" She didn't have an answer. She goes, "Well, I lose them in the conversion." I said, "So what's the point of growing your social media numbers if you're losing them in the conversion? I'd rather have 500 people of something than 10,000 people of nothing." And I need to have women to understand that mindset, because everyone has the filter, right? The little stars and the sparkles that go on, and you see people and they're like, "Look at me, I'm so successful." I don't believe in I'm not impressed, and I don't believe in it. Show me the numbers, show me so I'm like, let's have a conversation about the conversion, the science, so I created a program for women, literally because I was just talking to women. It's a 12-week program for those who are brand new to business, to say, this is what you need to. By the way, ladies, I know you guys know this. I'm like, just on average, you should have at least 3 business accounts, or 3 accounts for business, one for your main bills, one for your savings, and one for the taxes that you have to pay Uncle Sam, at least in the States, right? At least you have to pay Uncle Sam, because you have to pay your money every quarter. You have to fill out a report. No one's having these conversations with women. They're just saying that, "Oh, this is what you want to be popular. You want to do," and I'm like, that means nothing. And I said to a woman, "Okay, do you have a CRM?"
We just had that conversation.
And she's like, "I don't." She didn't know what a CRM was, and I'm scratching my head, and I'm like, "Okay,
So aside, yeah, no, no, I was gonna say, so aside from the science and also this, you said it was a 12-week program, right? Is that
yes, yes,
okay?
yeah." Mhm.
Yeah. So aside from the science and the 12-week program, what kinds of things are you noticing? Like the women that come to you, is it that they need better business strategies in place or actual tools? Like what kinds of things okay, so it sounds like both and it sounds like a journey, but what kinds of tools would you suggest that they need in their toolkit, after, I guess, going on that journey of like, now everything's aligned, but what kinds of tools do I need to implement immediately to achieve what I want to achieve in my business?
Well, I think it depends on what tools you already have in place because some people will do some homework on their own, right? Some people will read books. They'll say, well, what do I need to get smart on? Some people are very proactive and they may not have all the information, but they have just enough to be dangerous. You know what I mean? To go and do something. Other people, they have zero clue as to they just know that they need to register an LLC. They start talking about S corp. I'm like, you don't even need to talk about S corp if you don't even and you know what I mean? Like I was like, let's talk about business basics. And so some people you have to take them literally from registration. All they know is that they have an idea and they want to get it out there. And then you have something like Clubhouse that says, "Come join our room, millionaire breakfast, this, that, and the other," and you know what I'm talking about, the popular this, that, whatever. But I want to say, I had a client who had double-digit social media followings and no conversion of sales, and I was looking at her stuff and I said, why does your socio tab not match your website? And I literally had my iPad, my laptop, and my phone, all three devices, looking to see, how are you reading? How are people seeing this? Where are the flaws in your business? Like and this is why I talk about, a lot of women think that I set up my business and because this is in my mind, people are going to get me. But that's not the truth, and that's not the case. If you can't explain in 3 sentences or less what you do, no one cares. No one can and this is why I tell women, do not, create your business like you're going to sell it. Because what happens is that you take it very personally. And so I know Tony, you are a mom. This is why I make the joke. When your baby's first born, and you are so in love and you're holding your baby in your arm and you're like, you are the most beautiful baby in the world and oh, you are so cute and blah blah blah. And then like maybe 3 5 years later you start looking at pictures and you're like, like I did that with my daughter. I was like, man, you were an alien. I mean, I didn't, but I didn't see it. You know what I mean? 'Cause I was so in love with her, I didn't see that she looked like an alien. She doesn't look like an alien now. And this is why I talk about the business. You love your business because it's your business, but you need to run your business like you're going to sell it. Because when you act like it's personal, because people who are in business don't take it things personally. If you understand, I mean, there are things you take personally, but you understand what I mean. When you are
Hmm.
growing your business, you need to grow it like you're going to sell it, not like you're trying to keep it.
Mhm.
Because you act
Hmm.
differently, you think differently, you operate differently. If you know that you're going to get rid of your business within 5 years, you're building it to sell. And things that you would never put up with, you're putting up with, well, it's my business and I don't want to upset anyone. And I don't, this is a business. And if you can't have hard conversations, you might want to reconsider being in business.
Mhm. In our business, in our sector, we often find that we get stuck in that working in the business rather than working on the business. And so that's where I think the magic word, what you're saying is they can't separate themselves from
It's
from
very interesting.
yeah, from their role.
Yeah.
Obviously every woman is different in their stages of journey in their business cycle. But at what stage do you think most of these clients end up making a decision that they need outside help, like an academy like yours, where they're finding an outside resource to help them?
When they realize that they need to make a serious change, because you have two people, right? We have two people. You have people who talk about it, and and you have the other person who is action oriented, who is about it. You know what I mean? And you have what we call the dreamers, but the dreamers that don't take action. Those are the people that will tell you, they can tell you all the things that you are doing wrong, right? But are not doing those things themselves to make them successful. Those are the people who I call them the confidence killers, people who try to throw you off your game, who have a plethora of opinions, but nothing to help you with or show you, that kind of stuff. Then you have people who say, you know what? I need to learn some information and I don't know what I don't know. Can you help me? Because you know what? Especially women, we don't like to ask for help, especially women.
Oh, it's
And
so hard.
it's so hard because you know what? Because you've been taught that you need to be self-reliant. You need to be resilient on your own and you don't want to depend on anyone. And you don't that is the worst.
It's absolute nonsense.
Yes, yes, that is the worst attitude to have. When I started my business, and listen, I have I'm getting goosebumps. I have been introduced to people that I never thought that I would be introduced to because it never crossed my mind. but I never cut myself off from opportunities. I never said no. And because I did things with the intention of not to make money, but to educate, I made money anyway. If you understand what I mean, because it wasn't about, and listen, here's the thing. Anyone can ask me my price points, and I had this conversation today on Clubhouse about confidence. I want us to talk about why we don't like to talk about money as women. We talk about programs and what we offer and how we can help you, but no one says what my price point is
Mm-hmm.
because we're
They don't think they're
scared.
worthy.
Yes, there you go. They don't think it. I say, listen, let's do an exercise. Say this, I like money,
I like
I like
money,
money,
and I want you to like it too.
and I
and I
want
want you to
you to
like it
like it
too.
too.
That's right. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make and because a lot of us have been raised with, you should be grateful for whatever you're given. It doesn't
Scraps?
serve, right. It doesn't serve you in
Yeah.
business. It does not serve you in business. People who are successful in business will ask.
So that's a great point and a good segue into maybe some leadership questions and takeaways for our listeners about your
Mhm.
realm of expertise in terms of helping women entrepreneurs, right? Find their power.
Get their
So
leadership. Yeah.
that's right, 100%. So I want to ask, what is actually the most common challenge or obstacle that you've observed in your female clients? And how did you work with them to overcome those obstacles? Like, is there a commonality?
The worthiness and the association with money. So let me explain. I I I had a woman who said, "I like to help women. I will also help men, but I would like to help women lose weight." Right? I said, "Okay." And every time, and she said it 3 times. And I said, "I haven't heard you talk about money yet." So she kept telling me how she wants to help people, help people, help people. And I was like, "Uh-huh." I was like, "But let's talk about money. What are your price points?" And she was so and I said, "You realize that you can help people and make money. These are not mutually exclusive concepts." This is why I tell people all the time, helping people and making money are not mutually exclusive concepts. And then here's the other thing, especially now, if a woman does a nonprofit, worse yet. You know why? As much because she does not. I said, wait a minute. You realize that you can run a nonprofit and be a millionaire. Nonprofit does not mean that you have to live on the streets. Nonprofit means that your primary goal is not to make money. I said, but you understand that there are pastors out there flying on private jets. I'm not flying on a private jet. And these people work for nonprofits and they have reconciled with God. How come you can't reconcile with God and get some money?
Hmm.
But you understand what I'm saying? Because I know where it comes from. I understand where it comes from. And I say, if you lack confidence, because confidence and leadership go hand in hand, I said, if you lack confidence, it's not your fault. Because here's the thing, you've been taught that young ladies, you want to be nice, right? And I get so nutty with the words that people say. You know what I mean? Because you don't understand how those words are critiquing you into submission. And so you've been sought to seek the approval of your caregiver, parental unit, whatever, whomever raised you, right? Then you were sought to seek the approval of your teacher, professor, however it goes. Then if you go to, then you go to work, you're sought to seek the approval of your boss. But when do you stop asking someone's approval to live your life? When do you stop giving your power away to somebody else? That's what it blows my mind.
You're absolutely right. So, and that's the second part of the question, right? So, how would you, I guess, what are 2 tips that you can give that would help a woman who is, or man, right? Because we're not discriminating, but the
I'm
people
not
that you work
discriminating,
with,
but I go for my
I
women,
know.
I'll just tell you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And we're not discriminating either. But what tips would you give them to overcome that? Because we know where it comes from. You know how it's ingrained. How do they smash that down so that they can achieve everything in their business that
Mhm.
they want to achieve?
2 things I want to say. Okay, this might sound harsh, but it is not coming from a place of love. Okay, stop talking to your friends and family.
So true.
I didn't expect that. Okay.
No, it's true because yeah, it's a group think thing.
Right, because okay, here's the thing. they know you a certain way, right? And they like you a certain way, and they are comfortable in the way that they know you, right? But if you try, so basically what they experience is something called cognitive dissonance, whereas that they can't rationalize what's happening. And so you're like, you know what? I think I can do that over there. I think I could do this amazing thing, and I'm going to go do it. And then what we do, we get excited, right? And so our natural instinct is to go to our loved ones because theoretically, we think that you should be the one to support us, to
Yes.
give us
But they
that
can say,
boost.
Dr. Andrea, that's not going to work because have you thought about this? How about that? What about real? Yeah.
But
Makes
truthfully,
sense.
it's their own insecurities.
And
Yes.
that's the whole, but if you don't see that, do you understand what I mean? You're gonna, so if someone else had said that comment to you, you would let it roll off your shoulder because you don't hold them in any regard. You don't have a personal relationship. But if your mother, your cousin, your friend, someone that you respect, tells you something, they can shut you down harder and faster than the stranger across the street.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Well,
that's good
scenario A
advice.
is when you know your boundaries. When you know that this is the path that I'm supposed to be on. It's my story, it's my journey. I'm going to own it. Second scenario is, well, they're right. I can't do this. I can't accomplish
Yeah.
this. What do I know? They know better than me.
Right. And that's crazy. And then we have what I also call the enablers, right? So you have the people who will make fun of you and that will shut you down. And then when you try to say, well, that hurt my feelings, as opposed to saying, wow, I didn't realize that and I want to support you, they're going to say you're sensitive. And so it shuts you down even further. So now there's no dialogue about saying, well, how does this make me feel? How did that dialogue is completely gone. So now, because now you critique me into submission. And so now if I say anything, you're just like, as opposed to saying, wow, I was wrong, they put it back on you. So you have to understand the psychology behind things and why people say stuff. And so, and the other thing is, yeah, no, it's serious, it's deep, and this is why, listen, this is why I know that I'm going to be on a first name basis with the principal, with especially when my daughter goes to school, because I'm not if she wants something, I'm going to let her go get it. And I'm going to say, you do what you have to do. Don't worry about, I mean, yes, I don't want her hitting anyone into first or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But if someone comes at you, I don't want you to let someone else tell you the way you should be. If you don't think it's right, then you should go follow your gut and you defend yourself. Mommy and daddy will take care of whatever you have to take care of. But the first thing I go is, what happened? Was it worth it, and why'd you get caught? Those are the three questions I want to know. Why'd you get caught? Because I'm like, you should be able to rationalize your way out of this and not get caught. Come on now. You're my child. Come on. You know.
We have we had a similar conversation with my 6-year-old son actually about something like that at school. It's very interesting. I mean, all the psychology of everything, right? And in our business, we're in real estate. So our business is a lot, clients, you got to walk them through the process psychologically, team members, all these kinds of things. Very interesting.
Your background, Dr. Andrea, you sound so confident and passionate
I love
to
it.
uplift these women. What is this something that's nature? Like you're born with this, or something that's you've nurtured over the years? Like, what's your background?
Okay, so I think okay. Honestly, I think I've always been a fighter. I'll just tell you that right now. My mom told me I was born early. She's like, you don't wait for anything. You have no patience. Like I've been told that I have zero patience my entire life. And you know what? So now I'm like, well, you know what? You deal with it then. If you know this is the way it is, let's change this, narrative. Um, she would say that my brother, I have a older brother. He's 5 years older than me. She said he came home from school one day, was talking about how these boys were giving him a hard time, and I came around the corner in my diaper and I was like, what? Let me go out. And so, in earnest, I think I've always been this way. And I've always felt I really wanted to be a lawyer, tell you the truth, because I have this thing about injustice and people. Like, I don't like, if you do something wrong, you do something wrong. You're a big boy, you're a big girl, you can own it. But you're not going to manipulate, and you're not going to try to suppress somebody, and you're not, because to make yourself feel better. And so I think that's horrendous and horrific. And women deal with enough stigmatisms that they don't need other people putting issues upon them, because we've already, because when a young girl, screams, oh, that's not very ladylike. When a young boy screams, he's just being a boy. So you're already telling her as a child that she's not good enough,
How to
that she's
act.
And how
not
to be.
measuring up, that she's yeah. So that's why listen, when I was vaccinated and I got my little sticker, and I made sure to take home 2 extra stickers because I have 2 kids and I want a peace in my house, so I didn't want any fighting over this stupid sticker. Anyway, so my son destroyed his sticker weeks ago, and then my daughter, discovered her sticker and she was wearing it on her pajama, and I heard her fighting my son. They're 2 years apart. And I realized he was trying to take her sticker and she was saying no. And I popped my head around the corner. I was at my parents' house and I said, "Good for you, Gigi." Her name's Gianna. I said, "Good for you, Gigi. Don't you ever let someone take your stuff." I said, "You fight for what's yours." And she's like this.
Because she's two.
My kids are not in daycare. So she has no frame of reference. So if my son takes away everything from her, she's gonna think. And this is I saw her do this once. My son came running up to her and she had a toy in her hand and she handed it over immediately. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh hell no!" Like, so I was like, "You're not going to tell her." And I know my son loves his sister, but I don't want her to think, because now when she goes into school, whenever that day is, because she's 2 now, I don't want a child to run over to her and she thinks that she has to give away her stuff because they're coming run.
Right.
So
It starts at a young age.
it does. I
Mhm.
mean, so we've tackled that, which is amazing. But you're just so passionate. So why are you so passionate about lifting women up specifically? I mean, you kind of touch on it a bit, but what's the why?
Because I was not. I was not for a very long
Mm,
time. And I remember, being in college and doing my stuff and working. And my 11th grade English teacher, wherever she is, this woman's obviously passed on because she looked like Sophia from the Golden Girls with the teased hair and Coke bottle glasses back in like 19, whatever, whatever, so she's obviously passed on. And she told me, she said, "Andrea, you're going to have to work twice as hard and be twice as good because you're Black and you're a woman." It was the best advice she ever gave me. I was 16 years old. It was the best advice she ever gave me because I was like, "You know what? I'm going to make something of myself." And I'm the kind of person that if you tell me no, I will do the opposite
Ju
to spite
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of business
I'm the same
entrepreneurs
way.
are like that. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I
I
will
will
do it to
prove you
spite you.
wrong.
I will
I will
prove,
prove
yeah.
you wrong.
I'm not gonna say that I might go in the closet and cry. I'm not gonna say listen. I'm a human being. I'm not saying like I'm perfect. I might cry about it, but I will pick myself up and I will prove to you. No one's gonna tell me no. If my eyes are open, I can affect change. And I'll tell you what happened. So I'm coming through the ranks and I asked someone to be my mentor. And I said, "Hi, so and so, I'm looking for a mentor. Would you be interested in being a mentor? Would you consider me?" And let me tell you, and I'm always humble and gracious because this is people's time, right? He said, "Yeah, sure." And that was it. And I noticed that every time I was trying to advance myself, people were trying to tear me down at the office. All of a sudden, like I'm sitting here quiet, minding my own business. And I would send an email, "Can you please give me so and so? Thank you so much. Have a good," this is my early 20s, right? "Can you please do so and so? Thank you so much. Have a good day. Your emails have attitude." And I was like, I don't even understand how my emails have I have to this day, I have never raised my voice in the office. I have never said foul words like to this day. And I couldn't and at the time I was too naive to understand projection and jealousy. You understand what I mean? And so at the time I was going for my master's degree and I swore my friends to secrecy because I did not want people to be upset with me, which is ridiculous. I was going for my master's degree all by myself, but I didn't want her to tell anyone because I was so scared that it was gonna cause a riffle and people were already mad at me. And so I was like, I don't want to upset people anymore. And then when I finished my master's degree and my friends decorated my cube because I took a couple of days off, I was actually nervous. I wasn't happy. I was actually like, "Please don't." Because all of a sudden, one guy walked by from the IT department and he's like, "Oh, what happened?" I was like, "Oh, she got her master's degree." Okay, great. Then all of a sudden he said it in another part of the building in customer service. The dirty looks I got. All of a sudden, "Oh, you think you're better than everybody?" All things that had never. It
And
was one of
nothing
those
to do
things.
with you, too.
Yeah, and you're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, and
How did
so
you come out of that? Yeah, what's the most significant thing out of that experience that you took away?
Okay, so I got another job. Yeah, so I got another job. So I had left that job and then I went to work for the army. And I had the best boss I ever had in my entire life. This is where my life changed. I took all the feedback, even though I was like, I wasn't letting them define me, but if they were offering a continuing education program, I took it. Other people weren't taking it, but I was like, so if you're telling me I have an attitude, fine, I'll go take a communication course. You understand what I mean? That's fine. Now in my head, you can't tell me what I said in my head, you know, but I said, okay. And I'm grateful because you know what? It taught me so much. It taught me about people. It taught me about human behavior. It showed me who I did not want to be. Because here's the thing, you can't be a good leader if you haven't had a bad one.
Yeah, it's a learning experience for
It's a
sure.
learning
It's
experience.
a
So
journey.
it is so this is so okay. So I'm at the army now. I was in my then major's office and it was just two of us at a round table. And we're talking about whatever he said. And he said to me, he said, okay, Andrea, what do you think? And I literally went like this.
Me? You
I
want me
literally,
to
it was
tell
only
you?
the two of us in the office, and I literally looked to my left, looked to my right, and I was like, are you talking to me? Because I was so shocked that someone had asked my opinion. Do you understand how crazy that is? To be shocked that someone asked your opinion? And then, so I found people who were like, no, Andrea, you're okay. No, you and I said, you know what? And I at that point I had already started my doctoral program. I had started my doctoral before I left that job. And I said, you know what? My doctorate is in what? Organizational leadership. My master's in organizational management. So I saw, and what happened is I saw flaws in the system. Dumb me at the time asked questions innocently, not realizing the political fallout that would occur. So when I was working for this company and I said, how come there's no one of color in a position of authority here? I'm public
Just a
enemy number
question.
one. It was just a question, but now I'm public enemy number one. Do you understand what I mean? And then what made it worse is that they were paying for my master's, so they were seeing my grades. I had one A minus in my whole master's. You know what I mean? And so it was one of those things that they were mad at me because of my grade. And so it was like, you're damned. You know what I mean? Like those things where you're just like, you're just public enemy number one, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do better. I'm going to do. And so when I see women, I said, you know what? We've also been trained not to speak to each other. I don't care if you're the same race or not. As women, we've been told not, and we've been pitted against each other. But it doesn't have to be you or me. And what I try to, it's us. And here's the thing, when we do Wonder Twin powers activate, when we pull our resources together, and we let go of the ego and we let go, and of course it's not for everybody, but you meet those people where you say like-minded. I usually don't like to use that word, but there has to be something that resonates with you. You have to say, you know what? I'm here to change the world. Do you want to change the world? Let's make the world a better place. Let's not do mean girl stuff. Let's not. This is
So
I don't.
true.
I'm not in competition with you. And if you do something, well, I want to tell you congratulations. I want to say good. I'm proud of you. I want to say good for you. I tell women all the time, I want to say, hey, you see that person over there? That person was my client. You see her crushing it? Yeah.
Dance party. Well, so no, it's amazing here. She's amazing. It's amazing
Oh yeah.
hearing you speak passionately about all of these things that are also important to Jenny and myself. I mean, that's why we started this podcast together. We're from two different brokerages. We have
Competing
competing
brokerages. Yeah.
brokerages. We love each other. There's enough business out there for everyone.
Hmm.
And it's been really amazing. But so let's talk then. So, our third segment then is about the services that you offer to the world for people. You have 4 different programs, is that right? I mean, you've got a lot of great information on your website, but could you tell us a little bit about maybe each of them and how we would sign up for each and what the value is for each of them? So, I guess we can start with Women's Entrepreneurship 101, which you did touch on.
I have to tell you, that is truly okay. I know I'm a leadership egghead and stuff like that, but this bad boy, oh my stars. I love it. Okay, I love it so much because it's literally it's almost like a cliff notes to an MBA. You understand what I mean? Like, because if you've taken an MBA, you have the basic background and understanding of business, right? But if you've never taken an MBA or a business course, you have zero idea about business, you know. So for example, I had Kara Allen was one of my clients. I did a strategic plan for her, and I tried to explain to her that I can't do your job. She's a stylist. She's worked with Stacey London, and she's worked with Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, I can't do that. But that's because you're good at that. But what you do is hire people. But if you're smart enough, you hire people to do the foundation for you to do, you know, everyone needs a team. This is what women don't understand. They try to do everything themselves. And they don't like to spend money sometimes. Women, okay, ladies,
So delegate.
delegate and spend the money. If you're looking to make 20, 30, $40,000, you can't be upset spending $3,000 because you can't expect to get something that you're not willing to give. There's a mindset. People who understand money understand the return on investment. They understand, you know, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so Woman Entrepreneurship 101 Beyond the LLC literally takes you from I just registered my company and I'm procrastinating because everything has to be perfect and my website is this, and I've spoken to women, and they're like, yeah, I have to update my website, and I'm like, why? Why are you is that a good use of your time? Is that a good use? And it's there not only to give you the insight of business, but to help you to understand that your time, you are no longer an employee. People still think like an employee, and that program moves you from employee to employer.
To CEO.
Okay.
So what does that structure look like? Like how long is this program
It's 12
for someone to
weeks.
complete?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's 12 weeks. And it's we meet every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 to 2. And the first hour is that with these group of ladies, we talk about our wins purposely because we're all in different businesses. But what we have to learn is to understand is that we're not in competition with each other. And you can talk about business. There's a way you could talk about business without giving away your business. And you understand what I mean? You could talk about, hey, I think we should do this, or hey, people will never say, hey, I just landed a client. Like one week, I didn't even do anything, and I thought I was like, man, I'm bumming out this week. And I got 4 clients in 1 week, and I was like, well, all right, you must have done something because like because you put the work in ahead of time. Not everything comes through that day. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, and there's planning. I tell people, women, you have a fiduciary responsibility to be successful, to offer matching 401k matching, college contribution plans. You need to start thinking and operating like a business and not like, oh, I'm just Jenny, or oh, I'm just Tony, and who's going to talk to me? And that's my 12-week program to say, okay, let's talk, and here, let's talk about operations. Let's talk about financial planning. Let's talk about strategic planning. Like these are the modules that we go through because, and I tell women, if you don't have a 30, 60, 90-day plan, let alone a 6, 12, and 18-month plan, you have a hobby. You don't have a business.
Mm,
Yeah.
good way to put it. How about your other masterclass, the Women's Leadership Masterclass?
Woo, that one is November. The next one is November 1st through the 4th. That is actually one of my favorite things. We talk about the confidence killer. We talk about eradicating limiting beliefs. We talk about the leadership mindset shift. And what I love about this program is that we talk about day one, the actual leadership concepts, because you can't be a leader. There's no point in telling you about leadership if you don't understand just in a cursory view what leadership really entails. Leadership is not telling people what to do. It is not telling people what to do. And here's the thing, leadership now is more important than ever because for the first time, we have a labor shortage. So people can be picky since the time of probably the Clinton administration. People can be picky with their jobs. You know what I mean? Meaning that they're like, you know what? I don't have to go take this job. I don't have to do this. And so it takes you from thinking that individual as goes from Jenny and Tony the individual to Jenny and Tony the CEO and president of their enterprises who have a fiduciary responsibility, who's going to be hiring, people in the next like 3 weeks, who's going to be growing their network, who's going to be on television, who's going to be
Right. Going together.
That's different
Mhm.
mindset too.
Yeah. Going coactive leadership.
Yeah. What about, and so again, you have so many amazing programs. What about the Confident Women Masterclass? How is that differentiated from the first two?
because okay, so leadership does entail confidence, but leadership is really about your thinking about how are we going to move the needle forward. Confidence is like Do I believe that I'm even supposed to be here? Do I believe, this is where we talk about the imposter syndrome. This is where imposter syndrome really talks in, and the friends versus frenemies, and being, walking in, like, not needing anyone's permission. This is why I say, ladies, you don't need anyone's permission to be great. Literally, you don't need. So, and I said, what if someone tells you no? What does that mean? What's going to happen? Are you going to burst into flames? Are you gonna, like, are your eyeballs gonna melt like the Temple of Doom and Indiana Jones? No, none of that's gonna happen. But what it means is that there's things to be learned from it. See, every failure is not a disappointment. You know what I mean? And so we talk about the confidence and being willing to walk into that room and ask for your, and know your worth, number one, and to be able to ask for your price points and say, this is not negotiable. And if I gave you the impression that this was negotiable, then my bad. It's not. You know, this is it. Because when you go to other people and they tell you what their services are, do you negotiate with them, or do you say, okay?
So your MO on this particular masterclass is mindset, is about
Yes,
building
as a
up
hundred
their
percent
mindset.
mindset. It is a
Yeah,
hundred
very
percent
important.
mindset. Yeah, and
Very
there's a
important.
guy that who he is bananas good. He really is bananas good. He's a neuroscientist. He's my coach, and he will tell you the fight versus flight, while your brain does this, and what, like the science, not just like, not just feel good. He tells you, no, 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 this is why you are this way, and you're just like, really? Yeah, it's good.
Mm, mhm.
Mhm.
Your final program that we looked at was called Wealth. This one seems really exciting because wealth can look in so many different ways.
Yeah, women empowered to achieve leadership excellence through tenacity and hard work. Here's the thing, ladies, if you want to be a boss, and I'm not just talking about like a boss, like, you make your own company, like a real boss, like when you walk in the room and you command respect, where you don't even have to say a word and the seas are parting because they're like, who is that chick? She is bad. That's what wealth is about. That's what wealth is about. Wealth is walking in, even if you have red bottoms or not. You know what I mean? Thinking to yourself, I'm always like walking in red bottoms. That you're so lucky that I'm in this room with you. That's what wealth is about. And I'm going to tell you why wealth is so good. I'm not, I have women, I'm like, I'm not asking you for permission. I'm telling you what's going to happen.
Because you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
So,
it. And women need to own up and boss up and know that it's no. And listen, not everyone's gonna like you, and that's okay because
That's
you're not
okay.
yeah,
everyone's cup of
they're
tea.
not gonna like you
You're not
anyhow. It doesn't
pleasing, you're
matter.
not
Doesn't
pleasing
matter.
everyone.
So, can you share with us maybe a recent success story that you've had from one of your recent graduates in any of these programs?
Oh my
Might be nice
gosh.
for the listeners. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, I can't give a name, but I remember speaking to this individual before she came on, and she, nice lady. I'll just put it this, nice lady, really had a problem with walking in her own right, telling people what to do, because if she understood that she was working for somebody else, she could do it. But because she knows she's working for herself, who am I? And that imposter syndrome was deep. And I would say, okay, well, what are your price points? And I'm like, whatever you think you're charging, you need to charge more. That's what, like that kind of stuff. And not only is she charging more, she is crushing it. And I'm just like, I mean, I'll be dropping some. I got pictures of people who finished stuff and who have testimonials, and they're going to be dropping on my Instagram shortly. In the next week or so. 'Cause you can't have too many call to actions. By the way, ladies, understand what that is. But you can't have too many call to actions because then it confuses people. But it's coming out, and one of them is Kara Allen, and she said, I worked with Dr. Andrea, and she changed my life, and she is sitting in this gold, like regal, like, uh what's that thing called, like a chair, like for a royal chair, and she's in, yeah, thank you, throne, in a throne, and she's in this beautiful red gown, and I got the meme, and I'm just like, it gives me goosebumps, because people think, who am I? It can't be me, but it can be you if you're willing to walk out on faith. And I know I'm a little bit weird because I know I do things on faith. You know what I mean? I'm like, God puts me, nothing I do is of my own divine, like, I think I realized I'm not in control a long time ago. I'm like, well, God blesses children and fools, and I'm clearly too old to be a child, so he is, I'm on a journey to serve him. And so it has been an amazing journey because I wish someone had given me a tenth of the kindness that I'm offering ladies, because you can be beat down so much. You can be, after a while, after so many people telling, and it's not even that they really think that you're a bad person, but what it is that they're just happy that the focus is not on them. So they'll just hop on the bandwagon to be like, oh yeah, uh-huh. You know what I mean? And those are people I'm sorry for, because they're missing out on so much. And there could be a collaboration. And I am here and I do what I selfishly do for all women and my 2-year-old daughter, because no woman should ever feel that she doesn't deserve it, that she shouldn't have a seat at the table, that she's giving away her power. I say no more. I say no more, become educated, talk, and not every woman understands this. And this is why, you're gonna find some lemons and you're gonna find some people who are angels. But you just have to weed through it, and you can't give up. Because when you find your tribe, when you find people who are willing to uplift you, then you're like, you know what, I'm doing the right thing. And if people are trying to tear you down, then you're definitely doing the right thing.
You're such a great motivational speaker. Are your
Yeah.
consulting company, are you working alone, or do you have consultants as well that work for you, that work with your clients?
Yeah,
Like
so
how
I
big
have
is your
business
company?
coaches. Yeah, so I have business coaches, and so what I do is I do the main training with this wealth and the leadership program. But like, so depending on the level of service that you get, like, level 1, you don't get any personalized coaching. Level 2, you get mindset coaching and business coaching and that kind of stuff. And that's where you meet my business coaches. And these people are seasoned individuals. And the wonderful thing about living right outside of DC is that I have met the most amazing people with the most amazing positions, chief information officer for Small Business Association and OPM. And I mean, this one guy who one of my business coaches, he used to be number 4 in charge at the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Office here in DC. Like, I mean, high level people. And these people, they work with me because they want to impart their knowledge to others. And they're not and I mean, I pay them, yes, but they're not becoming independently wealthy from me, if you understand what I mean, because they also have other businesses. And then I tell them, I'm like, I want you to do other things, and if there's something that you do that they might want, I want to promote your business too. This is what I'm saying. Like, when you understand that there's enough for everybody.
We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah,
The
let's
hour
leave
just
it.
flew by so
I know.
fast.
We
Yeah.
actually have something fun though
Yeah.
to end off today if we can. We do 5 rapid fire questions. So say whatever pops into your mind.
Oh, listen, that's a scary thing. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That's a
That's
scary
okay.
Feeling
thing, but
You're
so good
allowed.
right now.
You're
Yeah.
allowed.
Yeah. Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
have more fun, drink more at school, party more in college. Because
Allow yourself.
yeah,
Yeah,
allow yourself to
enjoy.
party more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you're so worried. You know how that is. You don't want to
Yes.
you don't want to do anything to dishonor the family or disrespect your family, and you don't want to do anything that will come down and be a bad name, and you don't want to. Eh,
Just be free, man.
Are you going
uh,
to allow your daughter to do that?
yeah.
yeah. Listen. I'm gonna prep
Okay.
her beforehand. I'm gonna say, don't get caught. Don't get caught. Listen, the first thing I'm gonna say is, don't tell daddy. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. Don't tell daddy, and don't get caught.
I just had that conversation with my husband about our 1-year-old. She's 1. And he's like, "Oh, when she's older, no boyfriends." I said, "Are you ridiculous? You're being ridiculous right now. She needs to be set up to do whatever it is that she wants to do and achieve whatever it is that she wants to achieve. And we can't enforce certain belief systems on her because that's just not how it is. She's our child, but we do not own her. She
That's
has
it.
her own autonomy."
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
preach. So, second question. Who or what is your biggest inspiration in life?
That's a hard one because I've met some amazing people, and I would probably say that the first guy who asked me my opinion, my boss, he's doing so well. He still follows me on LinkedIn, and I still call him sir, even though he's retired and moved to civilian life. I still call him sir from the old school. And he's yeah, and he's won several awards for his company, chief I mean, he is that person that if he said, can you come in at 5 in the morning, you're like, what day? Like, you don't care what it is that he's asking you, because he was such a good guy and a decent human being that you're like, what do you, that's the kind of person I was like, that's who I need to be, that for people to be like, whatever it is that you want me to do, I want to do. And I tell people, I want you to leave me and then come back because I want you to grow and develop. It's nothing personal. And that's why everyone takes everything so personally. But why? Why do you take things personally? Anyway, so next question.
He was your yes man. What's one thing you're excited about coming up in 2022?
Oh, my goodness. I am excited for all my potential speaking engagements. So I am a keynote speaker for federally employed women on Saturday morning. And then I'm going to a wedding. It's a crazy weekend. But to be like a keynote speaker for federally employed women is definitely like a feather in my cap. And so my phone has been ringing off the hook. And so to be able to speak to college women is something that has I can almost get emotional. I get a lump in my throat because I wish someone had spoken to me and told me any. I'm not saying they're going to listen to me and they're going to be like, "You're the best." I'm not. I don't expect that. But if I can reach one person to say, you're good enough. You're smart enough. If you need help, let me give you structure. I spoke to a girl in Taiwan over the summer, and she was talking. She was concerned about her confidence, and she wanted to take my wealth program. And then I was like, "How old are you?" Because she wants to do politics, and she's like, "I'm 17." I was like, "Okay." When you finish college, come back because you need a frame of reference. Because at 17, you know that you don't, you know what I mean? Like the things I'm going to teach you, you still need to grow up a little bit more. You know what I mean? And she said that, my parents abused me, that kind of stuff. And I said, listen, if someone doesn't like your lipstick color, put on a brighter color. If someone doesn't like what you're doing, show your shoulder. Whatever it is that you have, don't let other people dictate your future because they're living their life. And she wants to do politics to make a change. And I told her, you're the most important person on this call. Okay. And so don't talk yourself out of, I'm telling you, as you go through college, to call me whenever you need me. And don't tell me that I'm too busy for you. Because that's what we'll do, women, right? We'll talk ourselves
Yeah.
and be like, "You're
We'll
too
make
busy."
excuses.
We'll
Yeah.
make excuses because we
Yeah.
fear greatness and we fear failure. We fear both of them. So we're just
Yeah.
stuck
Yeah.
in fear and paralyzed by fear. Stop
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Crazy.
Never heard one of our guests say that before. I love it. So
Three
good.
times
Crazy.
crazy.
3
What
times
career
crazy.
Yeah.
what career would you consider to be, or what career would you consider if you were not the president of your consulting company?
Okay, so if it was one thing I can get away with, I would totally like own a coffee shop and bake and can and preserve and like I'm like a walking dichotomy. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like I don't even like I cannot wait for my kids to get out the house and make some apple chips and make some preserves and do that kind of stuff and decorate for the fall and those kind of things like the whole Martha Stewart kind of stuff. I would love to do those things, but I don't want to do it for people. I want to do it for me. You know what I mean? Like because it feeds my soul and my spirit and cooking and that kind of stuff. But that would
That's
be
amazing.
I would hang out with you in the
I
kitchen every
Yeah,
day
we
if you
could
did that.
come. We could
Yeah.
come over. Our our last question, uh, where can our listeners find you if they want to get in
oh
touch?
yes, come visit us at us-leadership.com. That's my website. You can follow me on Clubhouse at Dr. Andrea. Where LinkedIn, Dr. Andrea Diaz. Like I'm on all the platforms. And the one thing I didn't mention is that what I think I'm probably most proud of outside of all my accomplishments is the book I wrote. I matter and so do you. 10 strategies to help women reclaim their personal and professional life during a pandemic and the next global crisis.
Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. You can get them. I've
Okay.
actually asked people that if you go through my website, because I literally personalize the book. I send a
I would love to read that. I would love to read that.
thank you. That's what I'm really grateful for because I remember when the pandemic happened, my husband came home, which I was grateful. I couldn't wait for him to go back. But I was grateful because we didn't know this is in the very beginning, we didn't know. And I remember him saying, like, well, I have a meeting. And I said, well, what makes your meeting more important than my meeting? You know what I mean? And I realized because I was with the kids technically, because now there's no daycare, there's no all of a sudden, like I am caveman and my meeting's more. I said, oh, okay. Let me tell you something. Look and so I wrote this book. I said, if I'm feeling this way, other women have to be feeling this way. And so one line that I have in the book is that, no disrespect, but I've never met a woman named Jesus. And so if your name isn't Jesus, I don't know why you're signing up for the cause, because there seems to be very little upside and a whole lot of downside to it. So if you are not meant to be the savior of all mankind, please stop signing up for it and acting and treating like, like you have to throw yourself on the cross, like, or on the sword every other day to appease other people. Stop it.
I think that's a great ending to this episode. We're at the top of the hour, but wow, this was high energy,
Mm.
very motivating, and I can't thank you enough for sharing all this. Such a good
Wisdom.
positivity.
Thank you. I thank you for providing this platform, for creating a safe space for women to speak, and for all the lives you've impacted from all your overall awesomeness. So I want to thank you for all of the things that you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Andrea.